Good morning. I've got a few messages from people that are talking about their fear, the fear of doing artwork, the fear of being seen by others, the fear of failure, the fear of their artwork being rejected, all these fears that you're building up. And the best way for you to deal with this fear of all of this is to stop and to face it. Turn and face the fear. The more you draw, the more you face that fear, the more you practice, the more you put your artwork out there, the less you will worry about it, and the more confident you will. And sometimes you'll do a piece of artwork that people go, oh, that's horrible, I don't like that, but you love it. And that is the secret. When you feel something special about your drawing, your painting, your whatever, your confidence will rise like a beautiful kind of phoenix. So, let's do some drawing. Come and draw with me today, and let's face those fears together. Let's draw. Welcome back! Back to another drawing day. And today I need to put down a couple of little marks because today I'm doing an illustration for the upcoming book, and I want to get a few little positions right because it's kind of important that it all falls into place in a nice kind of idea. And I'm not going to go into details, but just about proportions. Proportions are very, very, very important at this stage. And that's just something that I'm putting in a couple of lines here to kind of guide me along with. I won't do too much. But what it does is it just kind of gets me into the feeling of I know where my guidelines are. And that's something that I do dip into. I don't like to do the full kind of breakdown of the sketch, do all the little under drawings and stuff like that, because I feel like I lose a lot of the enjoyment as I'm kind of guiding my way through this drawing. This way that I am kind of like, there's no sketch, there's no plan, there's just I have an idea, I have a concept of today is the king of the beast. What is the king of the beast? Maybe it's like da 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 da. Maybe it could be da 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 da. And I have all these thoughts, and I keep it all there as like bullets, and then when I need it, bang 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 bang. And that's what today is all about. It's trying to kind of let some of these thoughts guide me. But as always, it's more about the journey of the drawing. If you're working on a drawing doesn't work out and it doesn't look that pretty, and it often does. My kind of studio is littered with rejection drawings that I just been drawing for hours and hate. But that's okay too, because it's like once you've drawn part of it and you've seen what you've done wrong, get another piece of paper and draw it right. It's like no big deal about it. It's just like going to the shop and you forgot to get cheese or something. Well, just walk on back. No big deal. Don't get so upset by it that it ruins your day. I find if you do that, in many ways, it kind of ruins what you've learnt from the drawing. Now I'm planning on doing a little bit more editing on some of these videos, as I've had some people kind of saying that I should kind of do a little bit more kind of editorial type thing to it, a bit more cut. You know, the people want me to be like up close. Hi, this is me doing this. Whoosh, back. Oh, here it is from the distance. That type of thing. Okay, that's cool. I can kind of. It'll take a lot more time to do the editing, but I think it's probably what's needed, maybe. And here's my king's face. I'm gonna got this idea for him to have these. I don't know. I kind of imagine him having some kind of elegant wig or something. You know, like the royal kings of the past. You know. And part of that kind of doing some editing is also about exploring different camera angles. I've changed this, I've changed that, with some help from my son, who's a bit more of a editorial genius than I am. And there's some glitches going on here with the camera. I don't understand what's going on, but I am having some technical problems. I'm terribly, terribly sorry about this, but sometimes the camera just decides to kind of switch off on me, you know? It kind of it's kind of a little bit upsetting, really, because the camera keeps turning off, and then I lose the video, and then when you kind of lose the video, then you kind of lose a little bit of feeling for it, and then you start saying, "Oh well, I'll throw that drawing away," and you know. But I'm just going to keep going with this one. Again, my apologies for the video, and hopefully you'll stay with me. The book is another adventure for the cat, who is one of my characters, and he's this kind of cat, and he's green, and I really like him. I got a great feeling from him, and so I'd like to kind of bring him back into a new book. There's a new book out at the moment, but I would love to kind of get going and do some more. See, that kind of thing about battling on when you have a problem like this, it's really quite important. And it's also important to not let it change your feeling, you know. You need to keep your positivity even when you're having technical problems. Now, the only problem with this new setup here is that I can't really see myself here. I can only see myself in the mirror, which I don't know if is it irritating for the viewer. I know it's a little bit strange for me because I can't actually see, whereas usually I've got the camera above me and I can kind of see what's happening, and just giving him a nice kind of set of flowing locks here. But also in the way that I draw, it's a lot of it's to do with feeling. So you know. When I'm feeling good, the drawing is infinitely better. So I'm trying to keep smiling. And we should keep smiling anyway, shouldn't we? We should, with all these things that go wrong in our life, we should just keep smiling and just say, well, if it doesn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow, right? Here we are. Just giving the little inside, the far distant side of the crown, so I can kind of sketch those in. Shade them in a little bit. Give it that feeling of it's being in the distant a little. And that's a nice way to add distance to your drawing also, is just adding sometimes a little bit of the shading to it. I kind of like the idea of him having quite a high collar of some sorts, because I want to give him some kind of jewelry, and I love the idea of the jewelry being underneath these kind of collars. Now you might find that with some of my drawings, if I do kind of fail, not so much a fail. That's a really bad word, Kieron. If I feel that I'm unhappy with the result, then what I quite often do is I do go back and try to draw it again, but from a completely different point of view. Maybe he's not like this kind of lion kind of creature beast, but maybe he's a little bit more of a kind of a fat rich cat or something like that, you know? And that way it kind of feels like it's a new drawing, feels like it's something fresh, feels like it's still exciting to achieve. Well, I'm just going to kind of draw like a kind of lion character in his necklace, and that kind of gives me the feeling that he thinks he's bigger than he is, you know. And the nice thing about kind of drawing is that I find that it's such a beautiful, relaxing way of using your time and your energy, you know. I think if I was to do yoga, I might kind of break my hips or something, you know. But to sit and to draw is a very much a relaxed. It's kind of like the Tai Chi with ink type of feeling, you know. And I think that's just beautiful. Trying to draw the links of the chain. And again, it's nice to kind of just relax into it and feel like it's one of those jobs you just have to do. It's like, well, I've got to draw the links of the chain. Okay. And then it doesn't make it feel such a chore, you know? And I think that's a good way to kind of look at some of these drawings, is like, it's something that has to be done. It's a part of the drawing that's maybe going to be a little bit of a slow down on a certain stage, but lovely. Just bring that down a little bit. Give me a little bit more space in there. That kind of gives him this lovely big kind of medallion type feeling there. I'm trying to give him a very big collar, like a kind of makes it feel like he's got some kind of like big fur kind of collar there. It kind of makes him a little bit more kind of regal. Maybe that would be like a nice white color against against everything else there. I might just darken up the edges there on the hair, just to kind of separate them off a little bit stronger, like that. That works much better. And that's something that you'll find when you are working on a drawing. You will find that there's certain things that your eye will just say, hey, oh, I don't like the look of that. Well, better fix that up. That's not nice. And it's a good way to just be really calm about your drawing and look at it as you're going. That way, I find it's like sometimes, you know, your second brain is kind of like watching out for you, you know. It's kind of like saying, hey man, look at that. Check that out. What's about that? Oh, you know. So really, listen to that second brain that you've got. Second brain? Is it a second brain? Is it a second brain? What am I talking about? Second brain? It is a second brain, isn't it? Oh no, it's a third eye. Maybe it's a third eye. Second brain sounds better. I like second brain. Follow your second brain. Don't worry about your third eye. And the way of kind of looking at your drawing almost like somebody else has drawn it. And that's a nice way to be judgmental sometimes on your own drawing and say, well, you know, well, I would have done that. Well, you were the one who did it. And it kind of makes you think, well, I should darken up some of the hair, you know. Why? Well, make it a little bit more clear. And already, just by doing that tiny little thing, listening to yourself, that has already lifted the drawing in my estimations, my view. And that kind of darkness around there has really lifted it. I'm very, very pleased that I've done that. Now I've got this very large area here from his nose to his mouth. That's a little bit long, and I'm kind of feeling like maybe I need to give him a very beautiful mustache, a little bit like mine. That's a bit cheeky, isn't it? Give him a nice curl. Every beautiful mustache should go into a curl. Cool. Oh, that's working much nicer. Oh, I like that. I like that. Oh, he is looking like the king of the beasts. That is nice. That is nice. That is really coming up to be a beautiful, beautiful drawing. And I hope all my camera is... Can you see that? Yeah, it's just you're missing off the top of his crown on that, but... No. That's nice. I'm just going to... Yeah. It's looking nice. That's looking really nice. Softening off that edge a little bit there. Now, I like the idea of him having some kind of high belt, high kind of, like his trousers have kind of gone up, kind of over the top there, you know. Like he's kind of holding his belly in. I'm not going to give him a big belt buckle because he has already got the medallion there, and I kind of feel like in my second brain, it's kind of like going to be saying that's too much. But I can add some decoration around it. Like at the moment, I'm doing everything in this way. I'm kind of moving the drawing back and forward that way. And what we can do is we can start to drag some lines down. And that'll split up the eye. When the eye's looking at it, you got these lines kind of falling down, you know, and that will make the whole drawing kind of feel prettier. Whereas if I put a huge big medallion here and a big belt buckle here, it might be too much. It might give away that unregal feeling to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some very pretty stripes, keeping it nice and thin there with your nib, and don't be afraid to use the back of the nib if you kind of, you see what I'm drawing like that, and then I turn it over and I do a nice thin crisp line, and that gives this shirt a very, very, very nice kind of regal feeling to it. And the stripes as well really kind of enhance this whole medallion feeling. The lines kind of push it up, and I'm very, very pleased with that. Lovely. Very nice. Now we'll get a big belt coming in. And the belt is holding his stomach in. Not bad. Now at this stage it's really important when you're doing a drawing that you need to kind of, the parts that have been done, you need to look at them in a positive way. You need to look at it and say, that's beautiful. That, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And look for positive things to reinforce your confidence as you're drawing on. Because you've still got a lot to do down there, and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to bring that. That's beautiful. Now with all this fatness, this circle with the head, circle with the collar, circle with the stomach, and I'm dragging that big straight line down through the middle of it. Straight down through that. Very, very happy with that. And what it will do is it will break up this kind of vision with your eye. Dragging this collar down and just adding some textures to it to kind of feel the fur of the of the collar and the edge of the coat as we're coming down. Again, that's very separate, very different from what the texture is on the hair. And we can do a little bit of cross hatching there to give us a little bit of depth there with the stomach area and the clothing. Lovely. Very nice. Oh, the camera's still working. Okay. Very nice. Very, very kind of regal feeling to him. And that's his legs down there. So I've kind of got these like almost like leggings on him. It kind of gives that nice tight, kind of skinny leg feeling to him, which is very, 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 very nice. Now I'm going to try to, over here, I'm going to try to bring in an arm. With of course a very big cuff on his jacket. Very nice. Lovely. It's actually coming together really quite nice. Now this hand, I really want it to be a kind of a gesture of something. See, by thinking 2 minutes before you actually do it, it's kind of telling your kind of second brain to kind of, this is what we are going to do. This is what the next stage is. And it kind of calms you down in a way, because if you already know what's coming, if you already know some thoughts, you don't know what the hand's going to look like, but it kind of gives you a nice relaxation almost. So he's going to be turning that way, so it's going to be his hand. Yeah, okay. You know, if you give yourself too long, if you knew what was happening too far into the drawing, you might start panicking. You might start thinking, "Oh my God, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that?" But actually, just by staying a couple of thoughts ahead, well, maybe I'm going to draw the hand, and it's going to be a gesture. Okay, what kind of gesture? Blah blah blah. You know. That's come up quite nice. Lovely. I'm just kind of giving him that kind of dividing line between the inside of the paw and the fur. And that gives it a lovely feeling. Cool. Again, we'll just put in a little bit of shading in there behind the fur, because again I want the fur to stick out a little bit more. Again, remember, these drawings have no plan. There's no pre-drawing for any of these things. They're just relaxing into the drawing. And I find it a very beautiful way to kind of enjoy the whole process more. I'm just drawing that stick there because I want to try and draw a paw holding on to a kind of a rod of some sort, like a royal stick. I'm sure the royal stick has got a proper name for it, which I cannot at the moment remember. But I'm sure if you remember what a royal stick is called, you could pop it in a message for me to enlighten my brain. Lovely. That's actually really come out quite nice, isn't it? What do you think? Send me a comment. Tell me what you feel about today's drawing. It's very nice to hear from everybody. I got so many messages from people. I love reading them. You guys are so cool, really. I get so many odd little requests, and I love it. Absolutely love it. I sit there at night with Mr. Miro and I read him all the comments. It's really cool. Yeah. I like the idea of him having some really tall shoes, like the type of thing that probably Henry VIII or somebody like that would probably have worn. You know, those kind of buckle shoes you always see in those beautiful big paintings. Something like that. Beautiful. I like that. Give him some nice little details to his shoe. Just follow that shading up there a little bit, just to kind of make it fit. And now we have to draw this shoe from a different angle. Lovely. Those big kind of high heels to it. What do you feel about today then? How do you feel about today's drawing? Very nice. Bring that in there. It gives us a very nice feeling then. And at this stage now, you need to be just looking over your drawing, thinking, how could I enhance it? Is there anything that I could do some little bit of shading on there. That would be helpful. That would kind of make the stomach stick out a little bit better. Lovely. And it does, just by that tiny little bit of sketching there. And that is the edge of our, oh, what's all the dust from? It's the edge of our coat. Oh. And we can just bring in some shading onto that, just to kind of make it feel like it's off behind him. Lovely. And again, the part of the inside of the coat, just darkening that down to, again, just to help really show off the nice thin legs there. And obviously that will be done with color, but I think the shading will also help lift the color up. You know, the shading around that will help. Lovely. And again, that's just the other side of the coat falling down. Again, the back of the coat, as we can see through here. And that will be the fur going around out. Letting the fur just drag out a little bit, giving that feeling of the coat behind him. And that is coming to the end of our drawing. And the nice thing about this is that we've got to the stage now that we've got so much going on in this drawing, and we've really kept it together. We've really kept this lovely and that is our king, and I'm really pleased with that. I'm just going to follow on with some of the textures on the jacket as I'm just following that through. What a beautiful, beautiful feeling. I'm really pleased with that. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you feel about today's drawing. And don't be shy, just say hi. It's nice to say hi, and I know that you're there. I know that you'll watch the drawings. It's a lovely feeling. It really is a very, very beautiful feeling. To know that there's so many people. We're up at like 950 people watching. And that's so incredible to think about. Getting in some nice fine little lines there just to add some detail to the edge of the fur on the coat. Lovely. I'm very pleased with that. So let's get a name in there. My name is Kieron Siemens. You know that by now. If you've enjoyed today's drawing, come back for more. Every day we do a drawing. Every day we keep this fun alive. And every day it's always great fun. And let me know how this new camera setup is. It's obviously got a few little problems with it. But let me know your thoughts. What do you feel about it? Do you like the new setup? Should I change it around again? I probably will change it around again, but because I'm not quite sure about the camera here being in full view. But that is today's drawing. The King of the Beasts in all his glory. Beautiful. I'm very pleased with that. Very, very, very pleased. So, thank you once again for coming and spending your time with me. Thank you very much for spending the last half an hour watching me draw. And hopefully you've been drawing along with me. Hope you've been getting out your pen and drawing your goldfish or your cat or something, just to have somebody there to draw with as you're doing it. And I know that by having you there, I feel better. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the drawing, hit the subscribe button. It's always a pleasure to have you there. Always better to kind of raise the numbers and make me feel that there's more and more people that are interested in these type of videos. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon.